Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca Valor, and welcome to the Night of Us. I'll be your tour guide / MC for today, and I'll be showing you little bits of our new auditorium here at Grandview High School. Before we begin, I would like to give a special shout out to our director, Debbie Foster, and our assistant director, Julie Funfar. They have truly been a great help in this difficult season and have done everything in their power to keep the Grandview Drama Club going strong. So, let's give them a hand. While we go through today, we're going to be seeing from a lot of different authors and hearing from a lot of our different performers. So, sit down, buckle up, grab your popcorn, and let's get this show on the road. In between each of our monologues or short scenes, we will be hearing a quote from Shakespeare himself. Now, I should mention that this is Bill Shakespeare.
He doesn't like to go by William. He prefers Bill.
He also wants me to bring up that he is tall. Like, really tall. Like, hit your head on doorways tall. He's 6'4", and he wants everyone to know. It's pretty much his only personality trait. So anyway, our Shakespeare is played by Elijah Burson, and feel free to cheer for him when he drops his profound wisdom. Our first two monologues are actually a pair. This is Adam's Diary and Eve's Diary by Mark Twain. Mark Twain was a great American author known for his most popular works, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. So these monologues show Adam and Eve's perspective on the Garden of Eden. Let me just say, they have very different ideas of each other. This is performed by Jonathan Flores and myself, Rebecca Valor.
She has no discrimination. She takes to all the animals. All of them. Every single one is a treasure, and every new one is welcome. When the Brontosaurus came shredding into camp, she regarded it as an acquisition. I considered it a calamity. That is a good sample of the lack of harmony that prevails in our view of things. She wanted to domesticate it. I wanted to make it a present of the homestead and move out. She thought we could tame it and make him friendly. He would make a good pet. I said a pet 21 feet high and 84 feet long would be no proper thing to have about the place because, even with the best intention and without meaning any harm, it could sit down on the house and mash it, for anyone could see by the look of its eyes that it was absent-minded. Still, her heart was set upon having that monster. She couldn't give it up. She wanted to start a dairy with it and wanted me to help milk it, but I wouldn't. It was too risky. The sex wasn't right, and we hadn't any ladder anyway. Then she wanted to ride it and look at the scenery. 30 or 40 feet of its tail was lying on the ground like a fallen tree, and she thought she could climb it, but she was mistaken. When she got to the steep part, it was too slick and down she came, and would have hurt herself. But for me, was she satisfied now? No, nothing ever satisfies her but demonstration. Untested theories are not in her line, and she won't have them. It is the right spirit. I concede it. It attracts me. I feel the influence of it. If I were with them more, I think I should take it up myself. Well, she had one theory remaining about this colossus. She thought that if you could tame him and make him friendly, you could stand in the river and use him for a bridge. Turns out he was already plenty tame enough, well, as far as she was concerned, so she tested her theory. But every time she got him properly placed in the river to cross him and came ashore to go over him, he came out and followed her around like a pet mountain, like the other animals. They all do that.
We're getting along very well now, Adam and I, and getting better and better acquainted. He doesn't try to avoid me anymore, which is a good sign, and shows that he likes to have me with him. That pleases me, and I study to be useful to him in every way I can, so as to increase his regard. During the last day or two, I have done everything in my power to name all of the animals before he has a chance to embarrass himself. He's not very good at naming them. I have no defect like this. The minute I see a creature, a name just pops into my head. I don't have to reflect a moment. I just know exactly what it is. Almost as if it were an inspiration, as it no doubt is. For I was sure it wasn't in me a half a minute before. I know just by the way a creature looks and by the way the animal acts what it is. When the dodo came along, he thought it was a wildcat. I saw it in his eyes. But I saved him. And I was careful to do it in a way that would not hurt his pride. Instead, I spoke up in a quiet, pleasing way of surprise. And I said, well, I do declare, if there isn't the dodo. And I explained in a way, without seeming to be explaining, how I knew it for a dodo. And although I thought he might be a little piqued that I knew what the animal was and he didn't, he still seems to admire me. And that is very agreeable, and I thought of it more than once with gratification before I slept. How little a thing can make us happy when we feel we have earned it.
To be or not to be? No. Cowards die many times before their deaths, but the valiant only taste of death but once. That sounds good.
As you can see here, this auditorium has been perfectly equipped with acoustics for any musical or theater performance. Moving on, we have Wish by an unknown author. This is performed by Brooke Valor. This monologue focuses not on wishing on stars or dandelions or eyelashes, but instead taking charge of your own fate. Besides, it's silly to wish on wishbones. It doesn't even make... Oh, look! A face-up penny! I'm gonna be so lucky! Oh. Here's Wish by Brooke Valor.
There are things you don't know, and things you're unsure about, and things you hope for. And then there are things that are just so easy. It's like breathing, or sleeping, or falling in love. Effortless. End of story. See, I've been trusting and not trusting the universe my whole life. Making a wish by blowing on a dandelion is trusting. But making the same wish on every dandelion you see is also untrusting. See, faith and doubt go hand in hand. I've looked for direction in every stupid place possible. I've made wishes by holding my breath through tunnels, blowing on candles, dropping coins in wells, breaking turkey wishbones, and blinking away eyelashes. It always seems so unlikely that there'd be so many opportunities for answers scattered in everyday places. But I've used them all, hoping that at some point I feel certainty and I know which way to go. I've used up all my wishes getting to this point. From here on, I have to trust what comes my way. I trust you. Entirely. The universe and its whimsies can take a flying leap. I'll bite the heads off of dandelions, shut my eyes to passing clocks, breathe easy through tunnels, and throw the wishbones away whole. I don't need them anymore.
Young men's love than lies, not truly in their hearts, but in their what? In their eyes. Okay. Sounds good. For the history books.
What a good job. Let's give them a round of applause. It's okay, you can clap in a circle now. I said a round of applause. There you go. Next up, we have a scene from An Ideal Husband by Oscar Wilde. This scene is about Mabel talking to her friend about this guy's proposing issue. He seriously has an issue. I'm just saying, if the same thing happened to me, I wouldn't be talking to my friend about it. I would be throwing hands and solving my own problem. Here's Saraí Flores with An Ideal Husband.
Well, Tommy has proposed to me. Again. Really, Tommy does nothing but propose to me. He proposed to me last night in the music room when I was quite unprotected, as there was an elaborate trio going on. I didn't dare make the smallest repartee, I need hardly tell you. If I had, the music would have stopped at once. Musical people are so absurdly unreasonable. They always want one to be perfectly dumb at the very moment one is longing to be absolutely deaf. Then he proposed to me in broad daylight this morning in front of that horrid statue of Achilles. Really, the things that go on in front of that work of art are quite atrocious. The police should interfere. Then, at luncheon, I saw by the glare in his eyes that he was going to propose again. I just managed to check him by assuring him that I was a bimetallist. Fortunately, I don't know what bimetallism means, and I don't believe anybody else does either. The observation crushed Tommy for 10 minutes. He looked quite shocked. And then, he is so annoying in the way that he proposes. If he proposed at the top of his voice, I should not mind so much. That might produce some effect on the public. But when Tommy wants to be romantic, he talks to one just like a doctor. He proposes in a horrid, confidential way. I am very fond of Tommy, but his methods of proposing are quite out of date. I just wish that I could tell him that once a week is quite often enough to propose to anyone, and that it should always be done in a manner that attracts some sort of attention.
Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great. Some achieve greatness. And some have greatness thrust upon them. Sounds good.
All right, that was a great job. Let's give them a hand. Next up, we have Christian Sanchez with Ferris Bueller's Day Off by John Hughes. Cameron says it best when he reminds us that we aren't dying, we just haven't got anything better to do in this lockdown. Let's hear it for Christian and tell him, Ferris Bueller, you're our hero.
Incredible. One of the worst performances of my career, and they never doubted it for a second. How could I possibly be expected to handle school on a day like this? This is my 9th sick day this semester, and it's getting pretty tough coming up with the illnesses. If I go for 10, I'm probably going to have to barf up a lung. So I better make this one count. The key to figuring out the parents is clammy hands. It's a good non-specific symptom, and I'm a big believer in it. A lot of people will tell that a good phony fever is a deadlock, but you get a nervous mother, and you're gonna wind up in the doctor's office. And that's worse than school. So you fake a stomach cramp, and when you're bent over, moaning and wailing, lick your palms. It's a little childish and stupid, but then so is high school. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
All right, everyone, let's give them one last cheer. Thank you for coming to our Night of Us. Each one of us has worked really hard to bring you this performance, and I hope you got a good time out of it. I also hope you got a brand new arsenal of jokes from me, because let's face it, that's the important part, right? All right, thank you for coming, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye. I said bye. Look, exit, show's over. You can leave. Bye.